So I've done predictions for the National League for the previous 2 years, and both years they have gone terribly. I've got very few predictions right. I think my record is about 2 or 3 correct. Anyway, with all that said, I'm going to do exactly the same thing again. Hopefully it will go a bit better this year and I'll get some more correct, but we will see in 12 months time. Anyway, let's get straight into it with the team that I think will finish in 24th place in the National League. That is Gateshead. Their summer has been filled with talk of their ownership takeover. They've moved from full-time to part-time because of a massive budget cut. They've lost a lot of key players, and I think that they are going to be looking at a low finish this season after finishing in 17th place last season. In 23rd, I think it will be Barrow. They finished in 20th last season. They made a couple of good signings over the summer. Ian Evatt in his first managerial job, so we'll see how he adjusts to management after retiring at the end of last season. In 22nd place, I'm going with Braintree Town. Their captain, Mark Anthony O'Coy, has left and signed for Bromley. They did get a lot of success last season coming up through the playoffs in the National League South. Will they be able to carry that momentum into this season? In 21st place, I'm going with a team that finished in 12th last season. That is Maidenhead United. They've lost Harry Pritchard, one of their key players. In 20th place, I'm going with Maidstone United. They finished in 19th last season. They've not made a huge amount of strengthenings, but they have signed Alex Finney, who was with them on loan last season and won their Player of the Year award, so that's a great signing for them. In 19th place, I'm going with FC Halifax Town. They finished in 16th last season, so a really similar finish this season in my opinion. They've lost a couple of players, but they've also signed a couple of good ones, so I think they'll be looking at a finish around about the same area as last season. In 18th place, I'm predicting the team that finished exactly in 18th last season. That is Solihull Moors. They've lost their manager Mark Yates. He's gone to Macclesfield and they've appointed Tim Flowers as manager. Other than Yates going, they've not lost a huge number of major players, but they have made some really good signings. The likes of Danny Wright from Cheltenham is a good signing in my opinion. In 17th place, I'm going with Dagenham and Redbridge. They've had a big budget cut over the last couple of years, particularly going into this season. Their budget is very small. They've lost a lot of players, a lot of the players following their manager to Barnet. In 16th, I'm going with Eastleigh. They've lost their chairman, Stuart Donald, who was part of the reason as to why they had such a big budget in the last few years. So with him going, their budget is probably going to be cut quite a lot. And yeah, I think a bottom half finish for them next season. In 15th, I've gone with Harrogate Town, coming up from the National League North. They've got some very, very good players for National League North level that I think will definitely just step into National League very easily. In 14th, I've gone with Bromley. They finished 9th last season, but the reason that I'm predicting them to finish a bit lower is because they've lost 3 really key attacking players. They've lost Josh Rees and Lewis Dennis to the Football League, and also Luke Winadio has gone to Aldershot. 3 real key sources of goals last season, so I think they will drop down a little bit. In 13th, I've gone with Havant and Waterlooville. 2 promotions in 2 seasons for them, but I think it will be harder for them to acclimatise themselves to the National League than it was in the National League South last season. In 12th, I'm going with Boreham Wood, who finished in 4th last season and got to the playoff final. The reason that I think they'll finish a bit lower is because they have lost 2 key players in Bruno Andrade and Grant Smith. 2 real great young players that they've got that I think will be big losses to them. They've both gone to Lincoln City in League 2. And on top of that, losing in the playoff final is going to be difficult to pick themselves up from that. Will they be able to recover and have a good season? We will soon see. In 11th place, I've gone with Wrexham. They finished in 10th last season. Their squad has stayed relatively similar, lost 1 or 2. The signings that they've made have not really been unbelievable looking at them. Luke Summerfield, to be fair, good signing, but other than that, I think that their signings, there's still some big names that need to come in for me to think they're going to finish any higher than mid-table. In 10th, I've gone with Barnet. As I mentioned, John Still has signed for them as manager and brought in a lot of players that he had at Dagenham, so he's brought in what he knows. However, that Dagenham team did finish in 11th last season, so I'm thinking the same sort of area for Barnet this season. 9th, I've gone with AFC Fylde. They've lost Sam Finley, a very influential player in their midfield. Also, Jack Muldoon has gone to Harrogate. There's talk of Danny Rowe potentially leaving. Apparently, Fylde have rejected a £150,000 bid from Tranmere for him. And really, £150,000, he's worth so much more than that. Fantastic player, one of the best players in non-league, if not the best. In 8th, I've gone with Aldershot Town, who finished in 5th last season, a team that have lost a lot of players this summer. Like a lot of teams in this league, really, they have lost a good number of their key players due to missing out on promotion. But they have made a couple of good signings. Luke Winardio, as I've already mentioned, coming in from Bromley, is a great signing for them. In 7th, I've gone with Dover Athletic. Great manager in Chris Kinnear, who, regardless of who leaves and comes in, seems to always mastermind Dover to finish right up in the top half. This time 12 months ago, they'd lost a huge number of their key players. Their captain, Jamie Grimes, their top scorer, Ricky Miller. A lot of players throughout the team had gone, but they still managed to finish in 7th place last season. In 6th place, I've gone with Ebbsfleet United. Ebu Adams and Jack King coming in, 2 great players for different reasons. Jack King, very experienced centre-back, and Ebu Adams, a very good young player that I think will go far in the game. They've also managed to keep hold of their manager, Daryl McMahon. There was talk of him going to the Football League, but he looks now to be staying. In 5th, I've gone with Leyton Orient, and despite them not really making any unbelievable signings that really make me think they're going to finish higher than the 13th place they did last season, I think the reason that I've put them up that high is because they're a team that really needs to be back in the Football League. The fan base is absolutely fantastic there, and yeah, I think with a year of acclimatising to non-league, really realising what it's about, I think that next season, with the same squad of players pretty much, they can kick on and finish a lot higher because of a year for these players to gel. They've not really had a huge turnover of players over the summer, so I think that will benefit them. In 4th place, I've gone with Sutton United. They finished in 3rd place last season. They've brought in a few really good players over the summer. Dan Wishart and Charlie Clough coming back to the club, and also Dale Bennett coming in from Forest Green. They're 3 very good signings. In 3rd place, I'm going with Chesterfield. Marcus Allen took over as manager in the last few months. He brought in a few good players. He won the National League with Barnet in the 14-15 season, so he knows how to finish high up in the table in this league. So now into the top 2. By process of elimination, you can probably work out who those 2 teams are. Are they 2 teams that you think are going to finish in the top 2? And what order do you think they're going to come in? Anyway, in 2nd place, I think it will be Hartlepool United. They finished in 15th place last season, and similarly to Leyton Orient, a year to get used to the league, I think will really benefit them, and I think next season that they will go on and be a lot better. 2nd place, I'm predicting, due to their new ownership as well. They have had a bit of turmoil last season, a lot of financial issues, but that now seems to be behind them. They've got a new owner in, and it's looking up. They made some great signings, the likes of Liam Noble coming in from Notts County, Luke James returning to the club, as well as the likes of Andrew Davis, very experienced defender coming in from Ross County. I think they've assembled a really strong squad that's got a lot of capabilities to finish high up in the table, but not close to the team that's going to be in 1st place, who I struggle to see any other team getting anywhere near to Salford City this season in 1st place. The signings that they have made are absolutely unbelievable. The players that they have in their team, I just don't understand the money that they are spending right now. Danny Lloyd has just signed in the last couple of days for them. He is apparently on £4,000 a week at Salford. That's over £220,000 a year. That's pretty much the same budget that some entire teams have got. Like some of the part-time teams that are going to finish down near the bottom of the table, they will have budgets around about that for their entire team for the season. Yet Salford are spending that on one single player. And that's not the only player that they've got on big money. They've got Nathan Pond from Fleetwood, Danny Whitehead from Macclesfield, who apparently his wage was actually multiplied by 8 to sign for Salford. They've also brought in a very big name in management in Graham Alexander. He was at Scunthorpe last season and was very unlucky to get sacked when they were actually in the playoffs in League One. But he's come into Salford. I think it's a fantastic squad that they're assembling. Absolutely unbelievable, some of the players that they've got. A great manager as well, and I struggle to see any reason for them not to win the league. But anyway, there we have it. What do you think of these predictions? Do you massively disagree or agree with any of these? Let me know in the comment section down below. Who do you think will win the league this season? Let me know in the comment section down below. I struggle to see any way that it won't be Salford, but maybe you guys have a different opinion. If you enjoyed this video, remember to hit that like button and subscribe to show your support. And also, I've just set up a new Facebook page for this channel. It's going to be slightly different to what's on the channel. We're going to have some more community-based things for non-league. We're going to bring you up to date with the latest non-league transfers as they're happening day by day. Also, we're going to have different interactive things that you guys can get involved in. And yeah, hopefully it's going to be a really nice platform for non-league fans. So hopefully you guys do enjoy it. Check that out. The link will be in the description for that. And definitely go and like and follow that page, because there'll be a lot of good content coming up in the next few weeks. Keep an eye out for that. But anyway, I hope to see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.